Hello everyone, this is Rudra, and in this video we are gonna be starting with the first two questions of first internal test of data science. So the first question says give three commonly used statistical measures for characterizing dispersion in student feedback data like variation in teaching quality scores, facility ratings, such numeric values, and discuss how these measures can be computed efficiently in large databases. So we have basically three methods. The first one is standard deviation, which is computed by under root the summation of x minus nu square divided by n, where x is the individual score and nu is the mean of the data sets and n total number of data points. And secondly, the most simplest method which we have is range, which is simply the maximum minus the minimum value of the data set. Example, if the maximum value is 95, minimum is 40, then range would be 95 minus 40 is equals to 55. And the third method which we have is interquartile range, or we can simply say it IQR, which measures the spread of the middle 50% of the responses. How it does that? It uses the quartile 3, which uses the bottom half of the table of the data, and minus Q1, which is the quartile 1, which uses the top half of the data. After that we get the spread of the middle 50% of the responses. Now how efficiently we can calculate them? In case of range, the most efficient approach is to keep track of the maximum and minimum value as we are iterating through the data. We don't need to go over it again and again. As soon as we found a minimum value, we write it, we find another, we update it, and we can simply subtract it and get it our range. In case of standard deviation, we need to keep track of three kind of variations, which are the count of records, the sum of the data, which is as we are getting the values, and sum of the squares of the data to calculate our standard deviation. In case of IQR, what modern databases does is they give simple quantile functions. We don't need to do anything else like BigQuery, SQR, Spark, everything, SQL, everything has modern databases. Everyone has these quantile functions. For example, approx percentile function in BigQuery and Spark, and percentile CONT function in PostgreSQL. So we can simply calculate it. Now heading to our next question. We have a student feedback rating on faculty mentoring effectiveness, and it is already sorted for us. We need to find the mean rating and the median in the first part. So the mean is the sum of all the values upon the number of values as we have been studying for years, which will be the summation. I took it out, it was coming around 718, and we have 24 values which we divide and get 29.92. As for the median, we have 24 values, so we have to use the middle two values, which is x12, x13 divided by 2. So 25 and 25 was coming in the middle. We divided by 2 and we got 25 as our value. Now mode is the value which appears the most number of times, the one with the highest frequency. We have two modes here because two values were appearing 3 times each, 25 and 35. As we can see, 35, 35, 35 3 times here. Similarly, 25 is also appearing 3 times. So we have two modes. That's why the modality of this data will be bimodal. Bi means two, modality, two modes. So bimodal. Now third part of the question says find the mid-range. To find the mid-range, we need to add the minimum and maximum value and divide it by 2. The minimum value we have here in the sorted database is 10. The maximum is 70. 10 plus 70 is equals to 80 divided by 2, 40. So we get our mid-range as 40. Now we have to compute the first quartile and the third quartile. So for the first quartile, we get the lower half, the lower values, 10, 10, 12, 16, the first 12 because we are 24. And in that we have to find the medium of these values, which is the 6th and 7th values. Average 19 plus 20 divided by 2, we get 19.5 as Q1. And for the third quartile, we have to find the upper 12 values, which is 13 to 24th term, and we have to find the medium of the middle terms, the 6th and the 7th one. 35 plus 35 was divided by 2, it comes 35 again, and we get our value as 35. Now the next part of the question says give 5-number summary of the rating. Now what's 5-number summary? For 5-number summary, we have two columns. The first one is the statistic and the second one is the value. So 5 numbers, the minimum, first quartile, median, second quartile and maximum. These are the 5 numbers, and we even use them to plot our box plot, which I believe we have to do in the next one. Yes. So the minimum value here is 10, Q1 is 19.5 as we computed earlier, median value is 25, quartile 2 is 35, maximum is 70. So that's it. That's the 5 number summary here. And finally I've generated our box plot, and how we do it is that we put our minimum value here, we put our maximum value here, put the feedback forms frequency over here, and then we create a box around the Q1, Q3 and median value. So Q1 was 19.5, which I put a little bit around 20, Q3 which was 35 and I put it between 30 to 40, and median was 25, we just mark it with a bold line and create a box around it. And that's how we made a box plot, and this is it for the first 2 questions. In the next video we'll be discussing questions further from the first test. Thank you.